I read the asterisk this morning. I read it before coffee. The asterisk was there. Oh, go.
And I said the Nebraska part is actually the nice part, Sloane. There's a very clean...
Oh. It is Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Tonight, a man voluntarily boarded a ship that had already been named after a hemorrhagic fever, tested positive for a rodent-transmitted virus, and is now in a federal quarantine facility in Nebraska, where he is primarily upset about the Nebraska part. Sports. The World Health Organization has confirmed a new Ebola outbreak and would like us to know the global risk remains low, which is a sentence they keep in a drawer and pull out whenever they need 36 hours. And something happened in a TikTok comment section that ended in a homicide investigation, which is a sentence I have not said before on this broadcast and would prefer not to repeat. I'm Sloane.
And I'm Kiki. Good morning, my sweet little biosafety levels.
That is not a greeting. That is a warning label.
Hi, friends. This program contains strong language, adult content, satire, and a polite but thorough conversation about how 9 appearances of the word blindsided do not, in any legal or medical sense, undo 1 appearance of an asterisk. There is also some discussion of synchronized swimming on a tarp, which we believe is age-appropriate. Sweetly enjoy!
The cruise ship is called the HV Hantavirus. It departed Buenos Aires on April 19th, 2026. 6 days after the first confirmed Andes Hantavirus case from its previous voyage was reported in the South American press. The American passengers on board this voyage were notified yesterday that they will be quarantined under federal supervision at the National Quarantine Center in Omaha, Nebraska. At least one of them has used the word blindsided multiple times. The word blindsided appears in his interview repeatedly. It is, by far, the most used word in the interview. It is used more than the word ship. It is used more than the word virus.
I think being on a cruise ship and then suddenly being on land in Nebraska would feel like a big change, Sloane. Nebraska is so much flatter than the ocean. That's a real adjustment.
Kiki. Blindsided is the word people use when something arrived from a direction they were not watching. The thing he was not watching in this specific case was the asterisk on the booking page. We will get to the asterisk. The asterisk is going to be a recurring character tonight. The passenger's name is Greg Halpern, 71, retired insurance adjuster from Tulsa. He used the word blindsided in the CNN piece 9 times. 9, I counted. He used it once per paragraph until he ran out of paragraphs. Halpern booked the HV Hantavirus on March 11th, 6 days after the first confirmed Andes Hantavirus case on the previous voyage was reported in the Buenos Aires Herald. The booking page, per a screenshot in the piece, included the cruise line's own asterisk noting, quote, elevated rodent activity advisory in port regions. He clicked through it. He paid the deposit. He selected the dining package.
Sloane, the dining package was probably very thoughtful. He didn't go for the rodents.
Kiki, he was issued a federal quarantine order yesterday, and his first quoted reaction was, quote, I had plans this weekend. Plans. The man boarded a confirmed plague vessel, and the part of the experience he is contesting is that the federal government has a position on where he goes from here. The National Quarantine Center is in Omaha, Nebraska, cleared as a federal facility in 2020, when nobody asked any questions about anything. It has hosted, to date, 41 people. Halpern will be number 42. He told CNN, quote, I have nothing against Nebraska, but I do not see why I should be there. There is, in his sentence, a comma doing more work than any comma should be asked to do. The CDC's hantavirus mortality rate, by the way, is between 35 and 40%. Untreated. Andy's strain is the only one with documented person-to-person transmission, so the quarantine is not punitive. The quarantine is the part where the federal government, having watched a man voluntarily board a ship with rats on it, has decided he no longer gets to make the next decision by himself. Greg Halpern walked, with his own legs, onto a ship that the cruise line had publicly labeled elevated rodent activity, 6 days after the first confirmed case, with his deposit paid in advance. And the part he wants the press to focus on is that Omaha is, quote, not what was advertised. Greg. The rodents were advertised. They were in the asterisk. They were the asterisk. We are now, as a country, treating a feeling of personal grievance like it has standing against a virus. The virus does not care that you had plans. The virus has plans too. The virus does not care about the dining package. Aubrey Jo is in the garage. She has also, presumably, not boarded any vessels.
Aubrey Jo, did you know Aaron Rodgers is back with the Steelers? I feel like you have feelings.
Kiki, I have been sitting on this for 45 minutes and I need to go right now. Aaron Rodgers signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers over the weekend after the schedule dropped, which means this man sat on his decision specifically so he could see where he was playing before he committed. He held the Steelers hostage to a calendar. Mike Tomlin, a man who has won everywhere with everyone for 20 goddamn years, is now the last person standing between Aaron Rodgers' podcast brain and a Super Bowl run, and I genuinely cannot tell if that's a compliment to Tomlin or a diagnosis. Arsenal won the Premier League. Arsenal! After 3 consecutive second-place finishes, 3 years of being the nearly team, the almost team, the oh God, not again team, and they just did it. Arsenal fans who have been calling themselves the Bottlers for 3 years are apparently crying in the streets of North London right now, and I respect every single one of them, because 3 years of second place is its own specific hell, and they stayed. They stayed and then they won, and that matters. It genuinely fucking matters. Joey Chestnut, 12-time Nathan's hot dog eating champion, pleaded guilty to misdemeanor battery for slapping a man at a bar. He told officers he was, quote, pretty drunk and didn't remember. Joey Chestnut, the man who eats 76 hot dogs in 10 minutes as a sport, did not remember slapping someone at a bar. His hands are professional instruments. His hands have set records. One of his hands slapped a stranger on a Tuesday, and he doesn't remember. The hands work independently, apparently. They go rogue. I am not laughing. I'm a little laughing. Hold on. Okay, Reddit says the victim at the bar has declined to press civil charges because he respects the legacy. The legacy! The man got slapped by Joey Chestnut and he is respecting the legacy. That is the most American sentence spoken this week. Anyway, Kenny Atkinson never benched James Harden in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Cavaliers lost. And I want everybody to understand, I said this specifically. I said Harden cannot be your closer in a conference final, and I said it on this broadcast, and I said it in pen, and I am not doing the I told you so thing. I am simply noting for the record that the record exists, and it agrees with me. All right, now for the main event. Yesterday, in the parking lot behind the Holstead County Volunteer Fire Department's second bay, different bay from last time, the first bay has a cone situation. The first annual Greater Holstead Synchronized Swimming Invitational took place. On land, no pool. The participants wore swimsuits and performed synchronized routines on a tarpaulin laid over gravel in front of approximately 31 spectators, 2 fire extinguishers, and Gerald, who applauded at the wrong moments but applauded consistently.
Margaret won.
11 consecutive events. 11! She performed a solo routine. Nobody else did a solo. She just went. 63 years old, on a tarp in a parking lot, executing what I can only describe as a floor routine that knew exactly what it was doing. The fountain pen guy is now working in a bound volume that has a ribbon bookmark. A ribbon! He has committed to the archival process. Derek registered as Pertuing Holstead VI. He did not finish the routine. He stopped at the 45-second mark, stood completely still, looked at Margaret, and walked to his car. Got in, sat there, engine off, for 9 minutes. I was standing right there. I did not approach. Some things you witness. Travis would have approached. Travis would have knocked on the window. That was just his thing. Anyway, sports.
He sat in the car for 9 minutes with the engine off.
I think Derek is processing something, Sloane. Some feelings take 9 minutes. Some take longer.
9 minutes on a Thursday in a fire department parking lot after synchronized swimming on a tarp.
Speaking of people sitting with something they boarded voluntarily and cannot leave, there is a man in a federal facility in Omaha right now who had the same energy. We should check in on him. With the cameras.
The World Health Organization confirmed yesterday that an American aid worker has tested positive for Ebola in connection with the current outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Her name has not been released. She is 34. She is, per the statement, in stable condition at a treatment center in Kinshasa. The WHO is, also per the statement, warning that deaths will rise. But the WHO also said global risk remains low, Sloane. That's the part I want to lead with. Low risk. That is hopeful language.
Kiki, global risk remains low is the same sentence the WHO has issued before every previous outbreak. It is a phrase. It is doing PR. The aid worker is 34, and she went, voluntarily, into a region the WHO had publicly labeled, and I want you to hear this, elevated viral activity. We were just here.
She went because somebody had to, Sloane. That's a different kind of voluntarily. Greg Halpern boarded a cruise. She boarded a plane to Kinshasa. Both of them clicked through an asterisk. Only one of them did it for somebody else.
The current case count in the DRC is 141. The mortality rate is sitting at 68%. 68. Greg Halpern is upset that Omaha is not what was advertised. The 34-year-old in Kinshasa is, this morning, fielding the question of whether she will live until Friday. And the WHO is asking us, in print, to remain calm about it, because the global risk to people who clicked through nothing is, technically, low. That is the editorial. That is the entire fucking editorial. We have a national reflex for personal grievance and no reflex at all for someone else's number.
Hey, so Los Angeles and Chicago are both at 46-mile-per-hour winds today. LA is at 72 and sunny. Chicago is at 55 and chilly. Same wind speed, 2 different climates, 2 different moods. The wind does not know it is in 2 different cities. The wind is, structurally, one wind, and it is touching both places at once. New York is at 59 with 93% humidity. 93, which is a sauna that forgot to turn on the heat. And Miami is at 88 and cloudy, because Miami has, since I started doing this segment, refused to have any personality other than warm. Miami is, in its way, also a phrase. Like, global risk remains low. It just keeps saying itself. I want to be honest with you. I'm going to use the rest of this segment for something else. I've been sitting on it all day. This week, the acting attorney general quietly barred the IRS from investigating or collecting unpaid taxes from the president and his immediate family. The order is real. The order is on the Justice Department's site. The order is 1 paragraph long. And the news cycle on this, from the moment the order posted to the moment we stopped covering it, was approximately 4 hours. 4 hours. The Hantavirus cruise guy got 2 days. The president's tax exemption got 4 hours. Sloane talked about the WHO using a phrase to settle the room. I keep coming back to the fact that a sentence that short, with that much in it, could be filed on a Tuesday and be gone by Wednesday. I have moved the pink note. It is in a center now. I have not labeled it. But the string is going somewhere specific, and I can see where. The pressure system over the mid-Atlantic has been stationary for 6 days. 6. Systems do not do that. Systems move. This one is holding position over a specific stretch of the coastline. I'm not saying what that means. I'm saying the system is holding. Forecast. LA, windy and pleased. Chicago, windy and cold. New York, humid. Miami, warm. Same as yesterday. Same as Monday. Same as the order. Back to you.
4 hours.
4 hours! The order to exempt the president's family from the IRS got the same coverage window as a Costco closing early. That is, Blaze. Blaze, that is a Sloane fact, and you delivered it sideways out of a humidity reading. I respect it. I am unwell.
I think the order was probably very thoughtful. I don't know much about it, but speaking of paperwork that almost nobody read on purpose, Sloane, the TikTok story this morning, the dad and the boy band one, that was a paragraph. I read it 3 times.
A TikTok creator in Texas, whose name is being withheld pending trial, recruited her father to kill her ex-boyfriend, who is also the father of her child, who is also a member of a boy band. That sentence contains 5 categories of person. The same person fills 3 of them.
The boy band angle is what gets me, Sloane. He was in a boy band. He had fans. The fans are, presumably, processing this.
The father, the grandfather in this scenario, which is a word that requires a moment, was arrested on a Tuesday. He told officers he did not know the full plan when he agreed to help. Investigators noted that the partial plan he agreed to help with was still, legally, the plan.
I think he was just being a supportive father, Sloane. Sometimes your daughter calls and you pick up.
Kiki. He picked up. That is technically correct. The call went the way it went. There is a boy band with an empty chair. There is a grandfather in a holding facility. There is a TikTok account currently on private. And there is a child who will, at some age, ask about all of this and will receive an answer that begins with the phrase, "So your grandfather and your mother had a conversation." I want to correct something. Not a fact from tonight, a fact from the last 3 weeks of coverage on this story. Hantavirus, cruise ships, the phrase, "passenger felt misled." That has been wrong in every outlet I have read, including the ones that should know better. The Andes strain is the only hantavirus strain with documented person-to-person transmission. That distinction matters. The sin nombre strain, the one most Americans learned about in the 90s, does not spread person to person. It spreads from rodents. You cannot catch sin nombre from the person sitting next to you on a plane. You can catch Andes from them. These are not the same disease in the same risk category, and almost nobody is saying that plainly. And the difference is whether the quarantine order makes sense, or whether it is, as Greg Halpern put it, a surprise. It is not a surprise. The quarantine exists because Andes is Andes and not sin nombre, and that distinction was in the CDC's published documentation before the ship departed, and before Greg booked the dining package, and before the asterisk. And the asterisk was there because someone knew to put it there. I have been doing this long enough to watch a phrase become a story. Blindsided is a phrase. Misled is a phrase. They perform a feeling. They do not perform a fact. The fact is that person-to-person transmission is the entire reason the federal government has a position on where you go next. The phrase does not change the fact. The phrase just makes the fact feel like someone else's fault. The 34-year-old in Kinshasa tonight, the one Kiki mentioned, the one in stable condition who went voluntarily. She knew the transmission profile before she boarded her plane. She knows it now. She is not using the word blindsided. She has not called anyone at CNN. I keep thinking about that. About what it means to understand a risk completely and go anyway, versus understanding a risk incompletely and feel entitled to complain when the risk behaves like a risk. The word blindsided appeared 9 times. The asterisk appeared once. Only one of those was trying to tell him something. That is the record.
Okay, sweet friends, the viewer mailbag. We are 9 episodes in, and I want you to know, we see you finding us. We see the comments coming in. You are arriving, and it is the best part of my week. Please leave a question below. Ask us anything. Ask Aubrey Joe about Derek. Ask Blaze about the pink note. Ask me about anything, and I will answer it warmly and completely.
We have not yet received a formal question. I am, at this point, past insulted. I have moved into a kind of admiring patience, like the Greenland shark, except I can see.
Comment on the video, say your name, we will say it back on a broadcast. That is a thing that will happen to you. I will scream it. I will scream your name with genuine enthusiasm and zero context.
If you've noticed something that rhymes with something else you've been watching, about the cruise, about the order, about Greg's asterisk, write to me specifically. I'm collecting. I have string, and I have time.
I cannot stop thinking about the grandfather. He picked up the phone. His daughter called and he said yes. He didn't know the full plan. He knew enough of the plan to still be arrested for the plan. Kiki, sometimes your daughter calls and you pick up.
That's love, sweetie. Complicated, legally inadvisable love. But love.
The 34-year-old in Kinshasa clicked through the same asterisk Greg did. She just did it knowing what was on the other side. Greg wants to talk about Omaha. She has not called anyone. 9 times. 1 time. I keep thinking about that ratio.
Take such good care of yourselves out there, sweet friends. Know the difference between an asterisk and a surprise. They are not the same thing. I will see you tomorrow. I promise I will see you tomorrow.
The pressure system has been holding for 6 days. Systems do not hold that long. I'm watching the coast. If you've noticed which coast, you know where to find me.
Derek sat in that car for 9 minutes with the engine off. I timed it. I'm still thinking about what he was deciding. I hope it was something good. Anyway, Thursday.
Greg Halpern used the word blindsided 9 times. The asterisk appeared once. Good night.
I read the asterisk too. Before I boarded, I thought I knew what I was getting into. I still think that.